Additionally, the board determined that qualification for the World Cups will be concluded 2 years prior to each event, with the qualifiers for the 2021 World Cup in England to be completed by December 2019. And we had some feedback on this one, Mark.
Dart said, this came in before the news was confirmed, he said, if the GB Tour happens, do you think Brough will be picked? He'll be 36 years old at that stage if he's not retired by then.
No, I don't think he will.
No, what does he bring, really?
I'm certain.
A good kicking game, but a bad mouth. No, I don't think he is.
Think so?
Yeah, no.
Well then, no. He absolutely won't be picked.
I'd be shocked, even if it was this year.
Yeah.
I'd be shocked, to be completely honest.
Yeah. No. There you go.
You can't. If I was his coach, I couldn't trust him. I couldn't trust him to be on the field. He does some great.
He's it week in, week out.
He does some great stuff, but we're going to get onto him costing his team a game in a minute, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
Someone else got in touch, didn't they?
Yes, I think it was Neil McKeown actually, just before
saying about
the cut-off.
If it's going to be GB, you have to pick from other countries.
No, you don't. You get it on merit.
Yeah,
as far as I'm concerned.
I think that too. One of the problems might be that they start looking at all these heritage Scottish players, let's get Lachlan Coote in and that sort of business. That would, we might need a centre. Ewan Aitken's coming up on the rails, isn't he? It's a good one. That'd stir that up again.
Yeah.
My view is the GB brand obviously retains some sort of
kudos, doesn't it?
And it was great, and we all remember growing up and seeing that shirt, and obviously we were in our World Cup in that shirt as Britain, and all those sorts of thoughts and memories and that sort of thing. But it's kind of redundant now. It's nostalgic, isn't it, in a sense? I read this as tours are coming back because New Zealand are touring here next year, Australia are touring here. Are they actually going to play tour games in between the test matches? Because that would be what there should happen. There should be an 18, bring 35 players and have an 18 game on the Tuesday night against the emerging nations, in inverted commas, on both sides of this. But I wouldn't mind seeing him coming up against a couple of club sides. I don't particularly think it helps England win a World Cup in 2021.
No, I don't think he does.
Do you know what? It's done this because there'll be a lot of people patting Nigel Wood on the back, saying, "Oh, well done, bringing GB back. We all love GB."
Here's the thing. Here's what I think. Here's again. I'm going to put my tinfoil hat on. Here's why I think the cycle is laid out the way it is, because I think there's enough time and enough wiggle room for the Aussies to back out by 2020. I think it lays the platform for what we want, which is to see and test the water and take the temperature on a GB tour and see what that does and doesn't do for the game, without putting any real pressure on the Aussies to actually get over here and participate in a tour.
I have no objection to a tour, and I quite certainly not, and I quite like the idea, and I like the GB brand. If they were going to play it the year after the World Cup, because it doesn't help England win a World Cup if there's going to be constant selection questions because you're mixing up. You might be mixing up the players if there is anyone else to select. And actually what it probably does is what it used to do a lot. Your GB player, I don't know. It just doesn't feel like it's going to help England win a World Cup. And I think England need to win a World Cup to give us the bigger platform more than GB win a tour against Australia, because it makes no difference if GB do it or if England do it, because people in Scotland or Ireland still aren't going to give a shit if it's GB or if it's England.
So I'll say this, and I almost immediately know what you're going to say back to me, but within rugby union, how many people do you think are sat there going, well, the Lions tour, how's that going to help England win a World Cup?
Completely different kettle of fish, isn't it?
Is it massively, though? I mean, I can see there's a gradient there, but...
I mean, I don't give a shit. Posh boys get to tap each other on the back and say, look at our great bank sponsor, let's hope they give some more money to the Tories, and that sort of stuff. But
in terms of the sport, though, and in terms of actual, the point I'm making, which was,
but you actually do have a collective, okay, your majority of your squad, particularly at the moment, is going to be made up of England players, because, they've just...
But that hasn't always been the case.
Just battered everyone for 2 years.
Wasn't it predominantly Welsh the last time they all went out, though?
Well, and then you've got, you'll have a period, again, of Irish uprising.
Fucking hell, you are a Tory, aren't you?
No.
No, you're not a Tory, I'm joking.
And, whatever. But it's different. It's a more collective thing, and it's a more special thing because the four different nations are well established.
That's true.
Whereas in rugby league, the four different nations aren't well established.
Which is what I thought you would say when I made the point. Right. Okay. Well, that's the news from around the world of rugby league. Let's take a look back now at round 13 of Super League. Okay, so into our Super League Round 13 review then, and we'll start on Thursday night down at the John Smith's Mark, where Huddersfield let a half-time lead go to lose 21 points to 26 against Castleford in front of 5,566, refereed by Ben Thaler.
Yeah, we start with Alan Walker. He says, that's Super League. More coach-killing moments than is healthy. Rick Stone's doc is putting in overtime. No top-rank NRL coach's family will let them come over for that. But tons of drama for the Speckies. Shame there weren't more of them.
Brian Davies said, listen to this on Radio Yorkshire. Danny Brough did what he does best. Some great moments to put his side in a position to win. Then absolutely stupid play to ensure his team don't. It was a fantastic game. Real end-to-end stuff. Craig Murdoch described it as the best game he's seen this season. Mum's new boyfriend did well.
Yeah, he did. Certainly did. Good player, isn't he?
That's the stone in your shoe. Coming back again.
But we said last week that he's always around the ball.
Yeah.
He gets involved a lot more than like young Darnell McIntosh was doing, sort of thing. And yeah, he did.
Yeah, fair play. He looks good, doesn't he, Jake Mamo?
Frogmore said, blaming the haggis merchant for costing Huddersfield the win, which might be true, but not for the low tackle. He took the two after the Cast player was sent off instead of putting the foot on the throat and finishing them off when a man up. Neither side can refs fault the pretty ordinary calls bent both ways in the last 15, made for an exciting finish. Nonetheless, P.S. missed seeing Mamo flip outs like the one on the final buzzer.
There you go.
Yeah, the last pass, didn't go to hand, and he had right. What was his name? That Bayern Munich centre back who went nuts at the '99 Champions League final, Sami Kaffour, was it?
Sami Kaffour, yes.
it was that. It was reminiscent of that. But I suppose we should touch on that taking the two before we move on to the next one.
Go on then.
I thought it was the right call. They were behind, weren't they? Behind at that point?
They were. No, they were up, weren't they?
Oh, no, they were behind. It made it 20 all, didn't it? At that point.
And then they went for the drop goal.
There'll be an easy way to check.
There'll be an easy way to check. Well, while you do that, we'll come back to this point. I'll take you through some of the other feedback that we got. Scoots28 Max said, thought the Webster sin bin was harsh, but once Brough went, there was only going to be one winner, and they weren't wearing claret and gold. Tyler Cass fan then got in touch and said Huddersfield should probably have shaded the game on the stats, and if Brough had stayed on the field for the last 10 minutes, they probably would have. Cass didn't handle Brough, and the slippery step that everyone's picking up on this very well in the first half, but we dug in and stayed in the game. Happy and relieved to nick the 2 points and get out of there.
Yeah, they were 18-19 behind.
Right.
No, they were 19-18 up. They were 19-18 up, so it put them 3 points ahead.
Which is negligible.
Yeah, maybe I'm with Frogmore then.
I
had it in my head thinking, but it's so long ago. It's nearly a week, Thomas.
There you go.
Fatboy Rob said, despite that useless twat Failer's best effort, the man's a joke. Cass proved they can Cass proved they can win a tight game and did it without Gale Roberts or Rangi. Luckily for us, Brough is an even bigger twat and let us back into it and got Failer out of jail. And Jesse did the rest. Massive win for Cass and arguably more important and satisfying than the smashing of Leeds and Wigan. We are top of the league.
Albany 85 said, I Sky Plus the game choosing to watch the painfully boring League One playoff game, Bradford City versus Fleetwood Town. First, I'm an idiot. I watched the Super League game immediately afterwards. In contrast, it had everything. A first half hat-trick, a drop goal each, a sin bin each, Webster's very harsh, Bruce deserved. He's his own worst enemy. Cass taking a late lead, then a last second cock up, leaving man of the match Mamo punching the turf.
Yeah, I mean Rob went off on it. Albany's a bit more reserved on it. Webster's sin bin was harsh, weren't it?
I thought so.
I think it was a penalty because the tackle was complete, according to the referee. Whether Cass fans want to think it's complete or not, I think the momentum had stopped, and the referee certainly thought that. But in the time between the tackle being called and Webster taking the ball away and running away, how certain can he be that that was a deliberate act?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And I think it would have to be a deliberate act for it to be a sin bin him.
Yeah,
but anyway, that's what happened.
It's done in class 1, so we can all
Mark W said, so this is the other side of the fence. Mark W said, hate to verge on ref's fault, but we were very hard done by there. Constant offsides, and Minikin was very lucky not to get a card. Still, great effort from us. Outplaying the league leaders after they thrashed us only a month ago is a big achievement, even if they did have a player shortage reminiscent of the great Hull FC drought of April 17. Mamo Steele keeps getting better. Roberts, Rapira and Wakeman also impressive. I can't remember the Minikin incident.
No, I'm not sure what he's referring to either. No. Ethan O'Gorman got in touch. He said, what a game this was. Despite having players missing from both sides, it was Huddersfield who came out the tunnel all guns blazing. Jake Mamo with the first half hat-trick meant they led at half-time, but a rally by Classy Cass saw them hit back and come out winners in the end, thus remaining top of Super League for another week. Next stop, Newcastle.
Marie Wright at Witchwood Lady said,
lovely to hear from Marie, always.
Gutted but proud of an amazing Giants effort. Lots of our key players out expected to be thrashed, but we almost won.
Colonial Giants. Paul Ludo Lewis says, enjoyable game thanks to another good performance from the Giants, and thankfully no one had to die this time. Huddersfield had the game in the bag until the usual Danny Brough brain fart cost them though. Thought the yellow card was harsh on Webster, so maybe justice was done in the end. Mamo is looking like a great signing, although I still can't say his name without bursting into a bad Al Jolson impression. Mammy. Nor I, it would seem, Ludo.
It's a stretch to remember back, but I can remember Jake Mamo being pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. I've been impressed with him every time I've seen him.
Danny Brough being pretty good as well, to be honest.
Well, that's look, Danny Brough is good. He's 80% a really good player, 20% a proper bell end, and that's too high in a ratio of bell end for me.
Well, I think what's happening is the bell end's increasing.
Yeah. Which is not always something you would complain about. However, on a rugby league pitch, it's not useful to you, particularly when you're one of the main voices for your side. He was captain in this game, wasn't he? Exactly.
You get given back the captaincy, and this is how you repay your coach.
Yeah.
An incident that was questioned whether it should be a card in the first half. I'm not sure. A player was in a bad position, certainly. So if you're making contact, that's extenuating that bad position. Then and the referees spy and pick up on it. Then by the rules, it should be a yellow card. I suppose. I think it seemed to be very accidental, that incident, but the cannonball certainly wasn't accidental.
No.
And even though it wouldn't have made a difference to how long you would have been off the field, I think it should have been a red card, not a yellow card. He's only got 2-match ban. I just think, where are they coming down? Where's the clamp down on this?
Yeah.
I bet he would have got a bigger ban if either of those two players had come away with a serious or any sort of injury.
Yeah.
I think it's bullshit from the panel.
Yeah, it's a cop-out.
That they're not treating that, especially that cannonball one. There was absolutely no need for it. It didn't even affect how fast the play would have happened.
You punish the potential, not the outcome.
Well, you need to get a harder stance.
But there needs to be a harder stance on what the potential you push the potential outcome. Not the outcome.
There needs to be a harsher starting point. Certainly,
I agree. What did you make of this one then? Enjoyable game. I'm trying to cast my mind back now. To be honest, I've realised why I don't remember a right lot of this one. It's because I've seen the highlights. Because I was at fucking Mickey Flanagan on Thursday night.
Yeah, you were, weren't you?
I was Yeah. It was very funny.
Good stuff.
It was very good.
Good stuff.
I knew there was something else I wanted to talk about at the beginning of the show. Mickey Flanagan.
There you go.
Oh. I'm not sure I'd rush back to the MEN. Ball ache getting out of there.
Yeah.
Car park, yeah.
Just get the train.
Well, we'll do next time.
Right, sorted then, innit? We've settled that one. Now let's get back to the game.
Fine. What do you recall of this?
I recall Cass not being as good as Huddersfield for almost the entire game, but they had some big performers.
Yeah.
Both forward packs did okay, and I remember a lot of times Shannon Wakeman winning collision and making meters after contact, and me not knowing he could do that.
Yeah.
So that was good from Huddersfield's point of view, and makes you think there's some glimmer of hope there. But then when they throw the game away against a Cass side that were very much under strength and ended up with McShane and Millington right at the end, I think, by the end, as the halves.
What we saw last season when they went through that period of time when it was McShane and Millington and people like that were kind of deputising in the halves.
And they still won a game then, though, didn't they?
What that meant to them, but there was a downturn in their performances, and I think if you're Darryl Powell, actually, this result, given
it means loads.
What was happening in terms